Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today as we try to bring this body down the tree, and we're just bad at many things, and Kim is also very bad. He's the one that has the gun, and apparently he has bad eyesight, which I'm now beginning to realize it might be just the fact that he uses glasses. I don't think that I would rather trust the eyesight of somebody with glasses than the eyesight of somebody without them. Let's just put it like that. Yeah. But yeah, apparently we're not doing it. We're not shooting that down. We're asking the arbor for help. Good job, we already found a way into the arbor. Hooray for us, says Kim. But won't it be dangerous, I'm gonna say? To ask the suspects for help with the victim's body? To be indebted to Hervart Claire? Very much, yes, he nods. Which is why I would have preferred us to accomplish this feat ourselves. Clearly, we can't. Suck my dick, bitches, says Kunese. Jesus. Like that, I suppose. Just shouting at us. So, we got ourselves a photo of the... Oh, we can interact with it. Lieutenant Kitsuragi snapped this photo of the hanged man's tattoos. It displays the intricate web of blue lines stretching across his torso. You have to admit, it looks quite cool. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the line intersects a small white star... Yeah, we read this. The pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it, which I think it just might be an euphemism. That word being used as an euphemism. I think. Who are you? Gone. What is the meaning of this tattoo? For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone close to the victim might know. Okay, well, do I know anybody who might be close to the victim? I don't know. I do need to ask... Stop. Oh, no, not this. Oh, zooming out fixes it. Okay. I do need to ask these two if they can help me.
This cone okay?
No, I guess that's that. Is it Kunese that I need to talk to? Move, move, move. Move!
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Listen, child. The smell is so bad that I threw up. And I was wondering...
Stay away from me, pig! You don't want to see what happens when you corner me.
I think that's about the question.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. You don't want to fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence. Yeah. Okay, so she's not getting me anywhere. And I do know of a way into the... Well, actually, it's this way. Wait. Yeah, I can't get up there, can I? Still early enough. Let's go in here. So there was that crane. Do you guys remember the crane that we found upstairs? That crane, I didn't activate it. I didn't know what it was going to be for. I imagine it might be for, you know, it might allow us to get to the thing. Through here? It looks like that's the way. I got all of the bottles. No bottles for me. Wait. This is not the way. Dang it. Dang it. Okay, there might be another passage here or something. I doubt it, because I got everywhere. Yeah. Man, this sucks. So how did I get over there? Through that door, of course. I mean, through there, obviously, but there was a jump. I might be able to try it again, but it's just not going to be a good thing. So let's get out of here. Time is not passing. So I think that's confirmation that time only passes when we talk, which is really good. I really like that. It's just that I didn't know. I think there might be like a tutorial lesson or a tutorial question or something like that. So let's go down through here. And I know a couple of people that I might want to ask about the tattoo. Well, actually, let's go back inside. Because There's one shack in particular that I think might benefit from us having done the things already. And it's here.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Not here. Yeah, not here. So there was a check that said something not time yet or something like that, and I'm not really sure what that might have meant. And I thought maybe I needed to do something outside. I think it was when I was investigating the window. Yeah, it is not time yet. Okay. That's the one. Okay, so we know where one of them is.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
I should have talked to you before. Are you the Hardy girl? I am not, she says dryly. You could be, Liz, says Glenn. You could be anything. You could even be a model. Even her face stiffens. Glenn, I went to law school. I am an attorney. Well, I guess that's that. You don't talk to me, do you? It's all about money, you know. Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay, so this is gonna be tricky. I know how to get back up there. So that, at least regarding the crane, is an easy thing. The problem is, maybe I need to find, maybe I need to find the, Vart again.
Looking for something, Hunt?
No. Man, it just needs to zoom out. And I'm not used to that, because I'm always contemplative. Wait, you might know something.
Right to work! Right to work!
Nope. Mañana, I missed you, man. I mean, I needed to talk to you, I think. Or did I talk to you and you didn't have any lines for me?
So, how'd you like our harbor?
He stares at you with his hazy eyes. It was nice enough. It's but a rest area on the path leading across the open plains, he notes solemnly, and then turns to you, a wide smile adorning his face. Right, you talk to the boss eye to eye, like men on the plain. If you have any questions, I'm set to talk. Yeah, if I said you have the key to a door? A key, huh? He runs his fingers through his mustache. What door is this key supposed to open? He said it belonged to a weasel. Oh, say no more. I got you. He taps the side of his nose with a little wink. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, and as they say. Let's see. You got a lot of options over here. I saw an opportunity and I took it. I'm a hustle grinder. I heard something about a weasel and it didn't sound like a local polar weasel. Apparently that's a type of weasel, if you know what I mean. I'm not really sure what I mean with that, and I can wink. I'm not opening this door for myself. I'm opening for all working men. That's just me saying what he says. Let's go with this one. Polar weasel. Oh, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure he's actually capital Occidental, though. So you're gonna be committing fratricide, my racist friend. I don't... this is weird. So, polar weasel... I think polar weasel means... is a racist term, basically. And I think it has to do... Oh, man, that's a really weird pun there. It's a really weak pun as well. It's got to do with the color of his skin, I would guess, because of polar and whatever. So I think I am completely lost as to the racial distinctions that they make in this world. I thought for a moment it wouldn't be color of the skin, but maybe it is. I don't know. And also fratricide means killing your father. So that just threw me off completely. Let's actually save in here before I commit to lines.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
Yeah, I still need to ask about the hanged man. I'm not really doing this for political reasons. Yeah, I'm the police. I'm not political. Right. I saw an opportunity, I took it. I'm a hustle grinder. Heh heh, he says. I'm not so sure about the hustle grind, but he waves at you. You know, it doesn't matter. It's a good thing you're doing. Thanks. What you're looking for is a basement, he says. A basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling in rags. That's all I know. An organization is what you call compartmentalized. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business. Okay, but where did you get the key from? Asks Kim. The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. His gaze wanders off into the distance. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and struggling. What's it for? He doesn't wait for an answer. To feed our children, I guess. Anything else I should know about this task? This weasel person? When will he be home? He shakes his head. Mañana does. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we're fighting for. The man takes a big sip from his flask. Who he is and what they're fighting for. This is interesting. The distinction between he and between I and we? No, I think this we is the there's the I don't know the name. There's a specific word that you use to distinguish between the the we, I and you, and the we, you and somebody else, or rather me and somebody else rather than you. There's a name for that, and English doesn't have that, and I'm pretty sure I don't know any other language that does it. But I know that there are languages that do it. At least there's a word to distinguish the two types of we. Actually, do you know anything about the Hardy Boys? Los Hardys? He smiles. They're an independent militant group. A bit too high-strung, but it comes with the responsibility. They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that, except it's Evar's law. He takes a swig from his flask. But really, they're just like you. Any idea who killed the hanged man? The mercenary, aye? We could have killed him. That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? Or rather, not we could have killed him. Who could have killed him? That's the question. Why even do such a thing, he asks, and shakes his head solemnly. He doesn't do that, though. He knows who did it. I think he knows who did it. Why are you striking? We're negotiating our share. Your share? Aye. He seems pleased with himself. Wait, so not wages or pensions or... This stuff they already covered. Or that stuff, the wages and pensions. Shouldn't you be grateful then? Yeah, work and be grateful. Words to live by. At least you got the benefits, that's something. Well, yeah, it is. That's why they're striking and not just getting out of here. How much you feed the wolf? What the heck does that mean? I don't believe that's a line that's said in conscience of basically who actually does the work. Because that, like, who does the work here? That's why strikes work. If you can't strike if you don't do the work. Like, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, student protests would be called student strikes. At least here in Portugal. And of course, we don't. It's not strikes that that we're called. What would be a better translation? Yeah. The word we use for strike is a little bit more ambiguous, and it can be used to it can be used a little bit better when it's the students who are striking. Now the students aren't doing the work. They're a part of the machine for sure, and they definitely do work in the sense of like, you know, that they need to put in effort and all that sort of stuff. But a student protest is even especially because they missed the school, that's not a strike. That's you know, that's still work. School will still work. Now a teacher's strike, that's a different thing altogether. So yeah, so I don't think this line is made with the notion of who actually does the work in mind. So I'm gonna say this. It's not enough, he says. Not enough to get ahead. More about keeping us in place. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, wait, let's ask this one. How large a share would you like? All of it, says Mañana. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process. Yeah, that's what we heard of before. And the first question here is, are you a communist? While this is actually more a socialist is the proper term for it, I would guess. A communist, the word communist comes from, I mean, historically, you can just call it, there's so many different types, right? It's like being a capitalist, there's so many different types. But specifically communism comes from the communal ownership of specifically the means of production. And that's why the symbol is the hammer and the sickle, and that's the means of production, and their common ownership. So that anybody can have a way to work on whatever, a right to work, which is why the right to work that guy is saying is such a perverse co-option of the original right to work. I said before that I was reading about it, and the original right to work, or where the term emerges, is precisely in the sort of in the French Revolution of the 1700s, as far as I remember. And it is precisely in the context of a social, or rather not a social, but specifically a socialist sort of impetus of the working class. Let's put it like that. But then it gets co-opted, specifically in the United States, and that's what I was confused about specifically, because it's still here in Europe. That's not a thing. That's not a talking point sort of thing, because it's mostly a talking point specifically in the United States, where the notion of the right to work is used, or in laws specifically of right to work, are used to diminish the power of unions. Because what unions tend to do is they tend to force membership, basically, because that's a very easy way to, not just for unions, but for the whole working class. But let's specifically talk about unions. It's a very easy way to defeat a union, defeat a strike even, is to allow it to be divided. So if you have two unions, or if you have half of the people who are workers in a specific field not belong to a union, then that the union loses a lot of power. And in fact, it's a lot harder for the union to have a bargaining, or to bargain, I suppose, with the employers. And so that's a tactic that's used historically and even to modern day in the United States specifically, is laws that are made to not allow unions to force people to belong to the union, in the sense that here belonging is specifically framed, and it is, objectively speaking, as paying their dues, paying their, there's a name that you pay for the thing that you pay to the union, to keep costs and, to cover for costs and stuff like that. And that's also a parallel, specifically when we're talking about communism, at least historically, communism in the USSR. That's a parallel as well to the bureaus, where you pay your taxes and all that, and the bureaus have a huge overhead, and the bureaucracy is just it's all up there and all that sort of stuff. And that's just a mainstay definition of the life in the USSR, as far as my perception goes, in their communist, at least Stalinist times, or whatever. Who came after Stalin? I don't know terms. Anyway, the point is, this sort of ownership is not necessarily communist. It's more socialist than then although all that I said sort of makes it seem like I'm defending that it is indeed communism rather than socialism. The difference is tenuous and more rooted in history than anything else, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it is an interesting question. Let's see the other ones. The Bossman Evart, what can you tell me about him? And got the people. Let me. Got the picture rather. These two are unconnected, so I'm probably gonna be able to ask both. Are you a communist? It's also, before I ask the question, it's also unfortunate to, I think it's unfortunate to associate unionization with communism, with such a specific ideology. Specifically because, in practical terms, there are right-wing unions. Particularly when it comes to defending the existence of unions, if you defend, politically speaking, if you defend the existence of unions, or less politically speaking, if you're trying to get corruption in unions to be lowered, or make laws or make a system that works so that unions can't be or are not as corrupt or corrupt at all. It's just unfortunate because unions aren't, while they are definitely a political tool and they're definitely political in nature because it's all about power, they're not necessarily left-wing, and certainly not communist. They are, well, they can be communist for sure, but the point is they're a social undertaking and socialist, but there's many stripes of socialism. And certainly of unions, more specifically. So it sort of blinds you as a person, I suppose. If you could just come, you are defending workers' rights. You are left wing, aren't you? Yeah. Well, it's not very difficult to look at history, and we see that while yes, workers' rights is usually on the left, there are certain movements on the right that also defend workers' rights when it's convenient and when it's in specific contexts. My God, I can't pronounce that word. Anyway, you know what I mean. No, he passes. He pauses to think for a moment. I don't think I'm a communist, he says. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. And that also sort of reveals. It probably has to do with the historical context of the setting. Or, which is as much likely, with the historical context of the writers, the communism, the common ownership here is not of. There's a distinction between personal property and personal belongings, and if you see something of value and you want it all to yourself, you can do that in communism, in pretty much any political. Well, mainstream anyway. Mainstream political situation. You can do that. This is just a distinction that you need to keep in mind, especially when you don't live in a communist setting. But of course, history is a specific thing, and the perversions of ideals, or the changing of ideals, let's put it like that. Let's put it like perversion. The perversion of ideals is a thing, and if you live in certain countries and know what it is like to have your stuff taken from you, then it's all the power to you for not really caring about that. Those distinctions, really. I mean, yeah, I can sympathize for sure. Even a weak child can think it, says Mignana. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. You shouldn't take what's not yours. That is such a lovely line, because it allows Mignana to say what I was saying just now, what I was referring to just now, which is who does the work? It's the workers. You shouldn't take what's not yours. That's an argument against bosses. That's why the ownership of means of production is so important, so that it's literally yours, because you work and all that. That's yeah. Then how can anything ever be mine? Says Mignana. But that's okay. We don't have to agree. The prairie is wide enough for all of us. Yeah, so the Brosman Arvart, what can you tell me about him? I think it's best you make up your own mind, now that you've met him, he shrugs. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. What does bossing the union entail, anyway? I guess you kinda get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners, other relevant parties. Watches out for his own? By that you mean corruption? Asks Kim. By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world. See, and in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it, even. He is personally not too lavish. I know what aesthetic is. He is not. That desk seemed lavish to me. He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway, and moralism is the most corrupt of them all. Yeah, that's where we come from. That's the whole, yeah. Well, it's the status quo, I think. That's what that is. We're out of time for the day, so we're going to continue asking questions in the next episode. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.